I think it is only appropriate for me to start this show by saying this. And I say this with affection, especially to my colleagues, Chris Stevens, Kendrick Marshall. How about them Dodgers? How about them Dodgers?
Go Blue Jays.
Game 1 of the World Series starts tonight. The greatest baseball player in history is about to show his ass again.
I can't even argue that point.
If you thought last time was a fluke, you are in for a treat these next 4 or 5 games.
Oh, he said the Blue Jays getting out of there with the quickness. My goodness.
Next 4 or 5 games, baby. Anyway, welcome to a brand new edition of the HBCU Sports Podcast. I'm Kid Rashad. He's Chris Stevens. He's Jared Hoffman. And look, we've got a lot to unpack today. And man, this is probably one of the, I think it's safe to say, Jackson State and Alabama State was probably the game of the year. But I think it's safe to say that when you put in consideration all of the games that we have on slate this weekend, this is probably, at least at this moment, probably the biggest HBCU slate of games so far this year. When you put in consideration everything that's being said or that's being played, all the games, what's online and so forth. So we'll talk about that. So real quick, before we get into the meet the show, Chris Stevens, you got a podcast?
Yes, I do. I have a music podcast that is my pride and joy. We've experienced tremendous growth. We've increased subscribership by about 200% in the last 3 weeks. So it's called On the Groove Line. I talk about everything old school, hip hop, R&B, jazz, funk, disco, you name it. Black people have done it. I'm talking about it. Be sure to go to my YouTube channel and click that link on your very screen. Shouts out to Stutter Noob. I got to bump you real quick. Go to youtube.com/On the Groove Line and sign up. I have interviews with old school music guests. Shouts out to Keith Kilgo of the Blackbirds, Howard University, and many others, and will be coming along in the future. So be sure if you like old school music, you'll love On the Groove Line. So be sure to check that thing on out. Thank you.
Jared Hoffman, you have a podcast.
Yeah, Better Than Less Than podcast usually filmed that on Thursdays live, 2:30. If depending on my schedule, I'll be busy, so it probably be 1:30, 2:30. But in between that time, you can bet your bottom dollar, word to Terry Rozier, that you're gonna have a good time. Oh man, I was waiting.
Oh, that was a good. That was a good one. That was a good. What a mess that is.
I didn't have time. I didn't have time to put the slide in, but I do need to let you guys know. Damn it, I've got a book. Okay, HBCU Sports 101, A Guide to Understanding Black College Athletics. Look, we were doing really well until your boy got put into the hospital. Okay, so look, let's go ahead and get those book sales up. And as a matter of fact, I've got a great incentive for you. Now, you guys know I'm not really big on spending my days in my office filling out or signing books. But because I want to get rid of these books that you see behind me, they've got to go. Okay, I want to get them out. Here's what I'm willing to do for you. If you go to kenrashad.com right now, you have the opportunity to get a signed book at the same price you buy on Amazon or any other place where books are sold, unsigned. I will sign the book for the exact same price. I'll ship it out to you right away. And you got your signed book. A lot of you have been DMing me. You've been sending me emails. Ken, I really like to get a signed copy of your book. Well, now here's your chance to get a signed copy of the book, HBCU Sports 101, a guide to Understanding Black College Athletics. And I will sign the book for you, same price as you would for the unsigned version. And it will be a keepsake for you to pass on for generations. I do not say that lightly. All right. All right. With that said, let's get on to what I think has probably been the primary headline of the week. And that was the untimely dismissal of former Southern University head coach Terrence Graves, who, after Saturday's loss, was that homecoming?
Yes, it was.
Mhm.
Saturday's loss, homecoming loss, Prairie View. It was later revealed on Monday that Southern University had parted ways with Terrence Graves. Now, the reason why I think this has gotten a lot of traction isn't necessarily the fact that he was fired, but I think a lot of people have taken issue with the process and how he was fired. Okay. Now, and before we get into that, Chris, I guess Jared had to step away real quick. But before we get into that, tell me if I'm tripping, because it appears that we are some way, somehow kind of trending. We're shifting. Hold on. Okay. It appears that in college football, we are shifting from the days where brother goes maybe 10, 11, 12 games in, and we go into like late November, early December, and before you know it, you start getting those notices after that final game. Maybe a day or two after the game is over with, you get notices: such and such has been relieved, or such and such has been fired, or such and such has decided to part ways with this coach, such and such has decided to part ways with this coach. Now it appears that these programs have no patience whatsoever. They ain't trying to wait until the end of the season. We got programs that are firing coaches like 3 and 4 games into the season, i.e. UCLA when they departed Sean Foster. And that looks like a miracle and happening. And good grief. Went 0-4, and then all of a sudden they beat Penn State, they beat Michigan State, and they beat who else? Maryland, and then they play not Iowa, but Indiana. Well, it might be over. But my point is that we got to the point to where now it appears that a lot of these programs, or didn't Florida fire their coach?
Billy, what's his face?
Billy Napier.
Yeah.
Folks are now talking about whether or not LSU's coach is going to stick around, if he's going to last for the rest of the season. Nobody is willing to wait till the end of the season and fire their coach. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I am one who is of the belief, because people talk about loyalty and all this other stuff, and you guys hear me say all the time, there is no such thing as loyalty when a contract is involved. Okay. So I don't know. But as it relates to Southern, you guys have some pretty strong opinions about this, Chris Stevens. I'll start with you.
Yes, I do.
Terrence Graves was on the SWAC conference call, SWAC coaches availability call on Monday. And it was later that day when we realized, or we learned, that he had been relieved. And I take it you, and I think even Jared, and there have been a number of other media outlets who've talked about this. They take issue with how it was done.
Yes.
Feel free
It's
to
gross.
chime in.
It's gross. I speak from personal experience, because one of my first newspaper gigs, I had to sit through a weekly meeting about what the next week's newspaper was going to look like. And before I could take my lunch, the dude who hated me and didn't even want to hire me from the start, his father hired me, but then his father retired, and then I was stuck with this dude as the publisher. And he made my life miserable for 3 years. And then one day in late March of 2011, he decided to wait till after me and say, get out. So I have personal experience with this. And I just want to say that as an athletic director of a Division I institution, if you are big and bad enough to step in front of the mic after the homecoming game and say, we're going to be considering a change, don't wait until Monday. Don't let the dude get on a call where he's got to answer questions about it and say, as long as I'm still the coach until something changes. You should have fired him on Sunday if you was going to do all of that. You could have bypassed this whole thing that left everybody talking the entire weekend, because Kevin Batiste Jr., who covers Southern for I don't know if it's a television station or a newspaper down there, but he said on Twitter this was the first time he had ever seen an athletic director take questions after a homecoming game. Why are you doing that? If you're not going to fire this dude, if you were going to fire Terrence Graves, you probably should have said, talk to him. You should have talked to him on Sunday and said, you know what? we appreciate what you've done. We appreciate that SWAC West title last year, but we got to move in a different direction. We'll either, find one. We'll get Fred to do it tomorrow, or we'll just skip the whole media availability and pay whatever fine we got to pay. But he let this dude sit up there on a Monday and say, "Yeah, I'm still the coach until further notice." And then later on in the afternoon, we found out there was no further notice. You gone. So I just think that it was very unprofessionally done. It was a poor taste, and this is coming from an athletic director who doesn't look like he can hire a head coach to save his life. I mean, when you think about it, Terrence Graves, less than 2 years. Eric Dooley, 2 years. And I mean, granted, did he hire Dawson Owners? Was he athletic director when Dawson Owners was the head coach?
Don't know. That's a great question. I don't know.
Oh, Reggie Flood's in the chat. He would know. What's up, Flood? Let us know. Was Roman Banks the AD when Dawson Owners was hired? If so, I'll give him a pass on that. But if not, this looks like he can't hire a head football coach to save his life. So now you are 2 coaches in 4 years. Okay, he wasn't. So he doesn't get a pass. So your first 2 head coaching football hires have stunk. And I mean, and that's not their fault. It's the
So Reggie said there's a reason it was done that way. Graves did something that changed the situation that morning. Now, who are we to question Flood?
Nope. We ain't questioning. We ain't questioning big time Reggie Flood around these parts. No sir, no ma'am, no they, no them.
Oh my God! I wish I knew what that was. Now, Flood, really? You just come on here and just casually throw that in here? Huh?
You got.
Hey, Chris, you were really on the roll too.
I was shucks, man. I was like Steph Curry last night. I was just hitting him, and then Flood blocked my shot. I was like, oh, okay.
He came through like Wemby.
Yeah. Oh, that boy. Yeah, but yeah. I still don't like it. I still don't like it though. But yeah, I mean, I guess if Fred McNair is going to be the guy moving forward, you can't be too mad about it.
Okay. So So given that we've been, and I'm sure if I'm Flood, I'm calling y'all. I'm going to get the details. Okay, just expect that call.
Shout out to Reggie and Colette Kennedy in the chat. He do.
Flood needs to jump on. You know what? Hey, man, if you want to come in and give your 2 cents, you're more than welcome. Because
your perspective is way more important than mine.
Because we had no problem bringing on our FAMU insider.
Hey, shout out to Steve Campbell.
When Stephen Campbell, when the shenanigans go on at FAMU, we would tell him. I'm just saying, man, send me a text. I'll send you a link if you can. But I respect your time. I'm just simply saying. So let me say this. Granted, Flood has given us some information that I guess we'll have to consider. Okay, those things to consider. But let me ask you this, Chris Stevens. Given what we didn't necessarily know at the time, so are you saying that he should have been? Are you saying that Banks should have let? Are you saying that he should have let Graves go over the weekend?
Yes. If you knew that this was going to be your course of action, there was no sense in letting that man twist and win for another 36 hours. Okay. It just was.
Because because I think about this, and I don't pretend to know what the details of his contract are, but I'm trying to figure out who was it that I saw that there were a number of reports that I saw from some Southern folks. I can't think of who it was. I don't know if it was Mo or if it was my man Fred, but so let's just say Fred will be calling his first game of the year. Oh wow. Ooh. Wow. Okay. Yeah, we definitely need to talk. Anyway. Wow. I'm just discombobulated right now. Flood, you just came in and just disrupted everything that we really thought we was on to something. Here you come, just pulling out the Lego blocks. But no, so I guess there's something. When you look at, I think there were reports that said, okay, they got rid of Dooley, right? And I think someone said that they're still paying Dooley. Dooley has a payment of something like $153,000. I read someplace that is still owed to him from his contract.
Yeah, because I think he had signed an extension before he had got fired. Before that season got started.
So Southern's still playing him. I'm guessing there's still some room on the contract of Terrence Graves that they still got to pay. So I'm just simply saying, man, for what it's worth, people firing coaches ain't cheap, man. I'm just simply saying. And some schools can handle it and some can't. And I just saying, man, I guess I go back to when all of this first happened. Remember when you guys remember, was it the Southern University Board of Trustees or Board of Directors that took issue with the AD? Because they, if I understood correctly, they said that, they took issue with the fact that they had the so-called national search only for them to decide on someone who was already on the coaching staff.
Right.
And, just to kind of see this all unfold now, it just.
My issue is, like, if
Okay.
I was Graves, I wouldn't have taken the job then, to be honest with you, because it's like, y'all don't want me. And then they proved it. They didn't want him. I mean, he took that team, which was really, I don't want to call him ragtag, but that wasn't Southern's best football team, and somehow they still won the SWAC. I mean, granted, the SWAC West is about as, weak as watered down oatmeal, but you still got to have a winner in that division. And Southern won it last year. And, he deserves some credit for that. But, I guess if you're going to move on, I'm not saying they weren't wrong to move on when they did. I'm just saying the way they did it was just horrendous.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the optics are just bad.
Right.
It's just the optics, like, of course you're not gonna, whatever information Reggie has about how this happened, if you know that we're not going to be privy to that situation, then you got to move accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you know that there's some things that happen behind the scenes that you're not going to inform the public on, then you got to be cautious about how you move forward, because nobody's going to think like, oh, maybe something happened with Terrence Graves that forced them to make this decision. All we're going to think about is your AD after the homecoming game saying we're going to have some conversations about what's going on. We don't make a decision after a game. That's the only thing we're going to think about, because that's the only evidence that we have to go on. So, it's just unfortunate that it unfolded the way that it did, but hopefully Terrence Graves, I'm pretty sure Terrence Graves is going to get another job. He'll get another job on another coach's staff. I'm pretty sure. Whether that happens at a Division I institution or not, I don't know. But I feel like he will land on his feet somewhere, and hopefully he gets a fair opportunity wherever he goes.
Okay. I got all kinds of Southern insiders sending me all kinds of information. So you guys keep talking. I'm trying to see what I got here. Hold on. Keep going.
All right. So, and Kendrick, and our senior editor, Kendrick Marshall, who does a lot behind the scenes for us, he published a piece about the coaches that Southern should go after letting go of Graves. And I found two names on that list that I have to say would shock me if there were any, if there was some fire to that smoke. And those, of course, are Trey Oliver at North Carolina Central and Shennis Berry at South Carolina State. Granted, those two were on the Southern football staff at one point in time. I don't know if they were on the staff at the same time together, but Berry served as offensive coordinator at one point. Coach Oliver served as DC, special teams and whatnot. So,
Okay. All right.
Let me put my earbuds in.
Say his name.
Let me let you put your earbuds in. I'm gonna take you off. I'm gonna let you get right first before you come on. Okay.
Say his name and he appears. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see if Southern does decide to stick with Fred McNair or does open it up for a quote unquote national search, because I'm seeing Kendrick mentioned a couple of, local Louisiana guys, a couple of Florida guys, and then, holding on to McNair or Trey or even Dr. Alvin Parker at Virginia Union. I would like to see him get a D1 job, and I would like to see Maurice Flowers too. Like, if they're, I'm not rushing Deshaun Jackson out of here. Believe me, I want Coach Jack to stick around for a while. But if by some strange coincidence Delaware State wins the MEAC and another school comes calling, I would think that DSU would be smart to go after Alvin Parker or Maurice Flowers if that were the case. But either way, this is a mess. But I trust that when Reggie comes on, he's gonna let us know what the real deal is. But I was rolling too, man. I was not.
No, you was all in your feelings and everything. You was about to come with it, but
I was cooking.
Hold on, let me see if he's ready. See, this is live, man. This is the beauty of this. Okay, hold on. This is
beauty of live.
All right, you good?
Yes, I'm ready now.
All right,
He's
so
here.
we've got Southern University insider Reggie Flood, my man. So Flood educate us, man, because apparently
an insider. Sometimes I'm an insider. Sometimes I'm an outsider who just knows a lot.
Oh, I know that feeling. You and I done had them conversations. I already know. But
what's up, fellas?
What's up, bro? So check it out, man. We were all into our journalistic feelings. We really thought we were saying something until you came in and just pulled the blocks and just the building just came coming down, just fell down, man. So
that wasn't my intention. Now I have myself in a good light and I can be beautiful. All right.
So go ahead and educate us and those who are watching, man, and let us know.
Well, this is the first time that this has been said publicly. So I'm giving, of course, you my guy, so I got to give you the. Okay. Southern didn't have an intention on letting Terrence Graves go until after the season when the AD made those remarks. The intention was not to let him go. It was not to make it official until after the season was done. But what they discovered was, and Coach Graves owned up to it, was that he never made the changes on the staff that he was asked to make. In terms of
you saying Coach Graves never made the changes on the staff that he was asked to make?
Yes. In terms of the play calling, you remember there was the announcement that Fred McNair would be taking over as the play caller. And
so that's what you meant when he said he's going to be calling his first.
So they kind of discovered it, and some of the players kind of intimated it, and they looked into it, and finally it was revealed. And so at that point, they were just like, okay. We just
So let me So Flood, and I'm not questioning that, but let me just I'm just simply trying to make a point here, because I'm always of the opinion, I've always been of the belief that if a coach of any sport is going to be responsible for wins and losses, that coach should be able to run that team as he or she sees fit. Yes. And so for what you're telling me, for the athletic director to tell Coach Graves to make whatever these changes, isn't that kind of pulling the rug out from him, per se? Well, or was this something that was agreed upon?
This is something that was supposedly agreed upon, but apparently Coach Graves didn't agree with it. It's sort of like when your parents tell you something and then you like, I'm grown, I'm gonna do what the hell I want to do.
Right.
It was one of those moves. Like, it was one of those moves. Like, look, I told him that we was gonna do it, but look, ain't nothing changed.
Okay, so let me ask you this, man. So what are we to make of and tell me if this may or may not necessarily be a big deal, but what are we to make of the fact that I guess the contract that Graves, whatever is left over, I mean, Southern still has to pay money for
which was part of the reason they didn't want to let him go, because after January 1st they would have only owed him $75,000.
Who's him?
Graves.
Okay, but I'm talking about the contract from
Eric Dooley.
From Dooley, right? So I mean, they still owe Dooley money, right? From
the information that I've been told this past week, that the Dooley has been paid off. He's been paid.
He has been paid off.
He has been paid. Now,
okay.
Now I know there's been a lot of conversation about still owing Dooley money, but from very good sources that I have, Dooley has been paid.
Okay.
And the situation with Graves, I think there's going to be some negotiation in that situation, because after January 1st, Coach Graves would have only been owed $75,000. But but he only is owed the $250,000 if he was fired without cause.
Okay.
Just if he was fired with cause, then he's only going to be owed about $75,000.
Okay.
So I probably what's going to happen is there's probably going to be some negotiation, because I don't think anybody wants him to walk away empty-handed. But I think they discovered, I think he kind of gave them a hand with once they discovered what the situation was.
Mm-hmm.
And that gave them a hand to fan with, to be like, okay, we could just let you go and not pay you at all because you basically went against the orders.
Okay.
You didn't do what was asked of you.
Okay. So Fred McNair is going to be is obviously interim head coach, and as you indicated, like it's going to be this first time calling. So Flood, I know this is like really premature at this point, and everybody's been asking this question, but are there any preliminary names that you would like to introduce to the conversation?
Gang of preliminary names. I will tell you this. There's no name that I can say publicly.
Right.
But I will say this. There are a gang of people who have called me inquiring about the job, names that you guys will be really shocked.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Prominent coaches who are working,
okay,
winning championship coaches who are working
right
now.
I know you have a pretty unique perspective. And I've heard how you are with respect to, when these availabilities come open. I've seen some of your lists. You have a very unique perspective on how these names come about, or the names that you will put in versus what everybody else. And I get that, and I respect that. So, yeah. and I'm not going to ask you for details, but let me ask you this: are the names that the people who have called you, are they names that you would approve of?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All four of them. I wouldn't be upset with any of the four.
Really? Okay.
No.
Okay. So is it realistic that Southern could get one of the four?
If things are right, yes.
Okay. All right.
I'll tell you one of them. I think if Southern would have to make an offer that was through the roof, because I actually think he may be just trying to leverage the Southern opening.
Okay.
But I think I was told this. If they came with an offer, basically if they came with a Godfather offer, he would take it.
Would you have a problem with Southern making that Godfather offer?
No, not at all.
Okay.
This would change the landscape completely if they got this coach. Landscape
of Southern or the landscape of HBCU football?
All of that.
Really? Oh, okay.
All of that.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it would have to be a Godfather offer. For the young people who don't know what a Godfather offer is, that's an offer you can't refuse.
I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse.
That's an offer you can't refuse. Yeah, so it's four coaches, and I've had direct conversations with, or their people have inquired, just kind of trying to figure out what the landscape is. That I would not be upset with any of those four coaches.
Hey. Someone said it has to be Trey Oliver.
Not necessarily.
They said it has to be.
It has to be Trey Oliver.
Well, you got what
that is. That person apparently knows that Trey and I are friends. That's why a lot of people know that. So, but that's why they would assume. But no, it doesn't have to be Trey.
All you got to do is connect the dots, though, Flood.
Davis is a North Carolina A&T alum.
But I'm saying, with respect to Trey Oliver, all you got to do is connect the dots. I'm just saying.
Yeah, a lot of people assume that it's Trey because they know Trey and I are friends. That's why they assume. But I will say this: it's not necessarily Trey. I won't say that it is Trey, but I will put it like this: 90% is not Trey.
Yeah. Okay? Well, you said it was 4, so
yeah, it's 4. So, yeah.
Okay.
But
okay.
It would. I tell you what, any of the names would be a great hire, and it would be a sea change in the as far as the conference and HBCU football will be concerned. Wow. And FCS football, period.
Ooh.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, man, we gotta see this process.
He is the Southern University insider, sometimes outsider.
Yes.
Reggie Flood.
Yes.
Brother. Yeah. I appreciate you, man, dropping what you were doing.
Man, I wasn't doing. It's Friday, brother. I'm chilling. I'm sitting here watching HBCU Sports, and I said, let me get in with my guys and see what's happening, man. And
you doing any games this weekend?
No, I have the next game I have is Alabama A&M and Prairie View in Huntsville.
Is that 2 weeks? That's next week?
Yes, the 8th. Yeah, the 8th.
Okay.
I have that game. So I'll be in Huntsville. I'm like, well, damn, I get to go to Huntsville when it's getting cold, man. The last time I was in Huntsville, it was my car doors froze shut. That's the last time I was in Huntsville. That's how cold it was there. So I'm hoping,
Lord.
I'm hoping that it's not like that this year, that it's just a nice, pleasant 70-degree day in Huntsville, or, in Normal, Alabama.
Well, for whatever reason, it is unseasonably warm right now. So
I hope
maybe
it stays
that's a good
way, because I'm a tropical guy. Look at me. I'm tropical. Tropical. I'm like 3 degrees removed from the motherland. I'm still.
So check it out. We're gonna move on to the next subject. You can either stick around, or if you got to go, that's fine.
I'll ride with you, bro. I haven't been here for a while. I'll ride with you.
Okay. Well, we'll appreciate you. Okay. So Flood is our guest host. Okay. Yeah. So we're gonna move on, because this too was a topic of discussion that was really one that Chris Stevens was like avid about, because obviously he literally was the first person to report on this, and now all of a sudden ESPN gets hold to it, and the headline was Virginia coach proves to be a magnet for complaints and controversy. Now, this is a story that's currently right now available on ESPN.com and literally talks about the Virginia University of Lynchburg. Chris, what do you call them again?
The Washington Generals of HBCU football. Because I'll never forget. Because while we're here, the first person who reached out to me and asked me to do this and give my comments on this outside of HBCU Sports was Reggie Flood for the Big Time Sports Show. He reached out to me. He said, "Hey Chris, can you come on the show and talk about it?" I was like, "Absolutely." And we had a blast clowning them folks, man. Because it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And
look,
to know that Tim Newman is still on the shenanigans, I really want our schools to stop playing them. And Lincoln, California.
And I have to ask the question. Look, why? Well, that's a dumb question. I know why.
Yeah, we know why.
It's a cheap game. It's a cheap win. But I mean, come on, man.
But is it even a cheap win anymore? Like, even if the cost of what you lose in playing them, is it even still worth it?
Who's lost the VUL?
No, I don't mean actually losing the game. I mean in terms of years ago. Yeah, I mean in terms of the credibility,
right?
And all the other things that go with it. Like you mentioned, Lincoln. I did Alcorn Lincoln on SWAC TV.
Right.
Lincoln had 28 players. They didn't even have enough jerseys. Total. They had 28 players. They didn't even have enough jerseys. Go look at the replay. You'll see Lincoln's players wearing Alcorn jerseys.
What?
Yes. Yo. I promise. Go look at the replay.
I didn't even look. I did. Yeah, I will, because
they showed up. The game was a 2:00 kickoff. They showed up at 12:38.
No, yeah. See.
I mean, please stop.
They stayed in Mississippi for 3 weeks.
Because they went after Alcorn. Do they play Valley?
They played Valley the next week. They stayed over in Valley. Then they stayed over. They didn't go back. They're not going back to California until after this game against Prairie View. Oh, and you know that they had missed the previous 2 weeks games. They had forfeited them because they didn't have enough players.
That's crazy.
They forfeited a game against West Georgia and some school in North Dakota.
Whoa. Emmett, they are not a D1 program.
No, he's saying it's embarrassing for a D1 program.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I read that completely wrong.
No.
I don't mean to, but you guys just triggered me when you brought up Lincoln, and like Chris said, we talked about Virginia Lynchburg, and I can't believe Virginia Lynchburg is still out there doing what they're doing. I can't believe that guy's still out there doing what he's doing.
And I guess there must be something about football that is a critical component. And look, and I say this, I don't mean any disrespect by saying this. I've never been to the campus, don't know anything about it. But there must be a critical component financially with football that ties into the university overall for its finances. Because if you talk You go to any other school, any other football program at any other 4-year institution, whether it be Division I, Division II, and the future of football is always in play. I think at one point UMES was even thinking about bringing back football, but it's just the cost of even having a football program in and of itself. So I'm just trying to figure out what is it about Virginia University of Lynchburg that makes them want to continue the sport despite all of the negative criticism and press that comes with it. I don't understand it.
To be clear, it's not just their football program that's bad. It's the entire athletic department that's bad. So the basketball team is just as bad. So all the athletics is not good in Virginia University of Lynchburg. But as far as why teams schedule them, is what you guys said. They're a cheap game and it's a cheap win. That's all it is.
And you know who's the athletic director responsible for all of this? Tim Newman, the football coach.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Same at Lincoln.
So he oversees the whole mess. The whole mess.
He grabbed his sons from Johnson C. Smith, and they're a part of the team.
Who?
So his two sons were running backs at Johnson C. Smith, and when
Tim Newman had two sons at Johnson C. Smith that are playing with
Jacob Newman and Tim Newman Jr.
Yep.
They were both players for Virginia University Lynchburg that were once at Johnson C. Smith.
Yep.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I ain't just like we don't necessarily want our schools to play, and we ain't spending too much time on this because, like I said, we've been there, done that with VUL. And now
before we get off of it, I have a slight theory as to why these schools why they're doing, because basically it's not costing the actual university any money. And what they're doing is they're splitting the costs with these coaches, these so-called coaches and athletic directors. Because I know, like in Lincoln was a business college. I don't know.
Okay.
You know how you see that the business colleges advertised on TV, like in Louisiana, we have Delta College.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
That's what Lincoln is. Lincoln is a business school the guy brought the proposal to him and said, look, can I use your name? I want to start a college football team. It's not going to cost you anything because we're going to play these schools. They're going to pay a check. I give you a percentage. I keep a percentage. We finance the football team.
That's crazy.
You guys just provide the classroom and we pay the players. You guys just provide the classes. You're an accredited university or an accredited school.
Crazy.
And those accreditation agencies, they vary.
Yes. Yes. That's why a lot of them aren't NCAA or NAIA regulated or whatever. But I feel like as the SWAC, and I don't know how this is going to go over. I might get a phone call or whatever, but the SWAC should not be allowing our schools to play.
No, absolutely not. They shouldn't be. And I think I made note of this last week. I said that look, I don't know if it's something that Charles McClellan could do, but I told him, I said, it should be something in the bylaws that should say that none of the member schools should allow themselves to pay any school below a particular level.
Yep.
Those schools, Virginia University, VUL, and Lincoln, those schools shouldn't be played. Now, I don't know about this other school that UAPB played. What was that?
Westgate
down in
Christian.
Houston?
Yeah,
What?
Same thing.
NCCAA, I believe.
Yeah, they're in the National Christian College.
So is Virginia University Lynchburg. They're both in the NCCAA.
The same. That's the same.
Yeah. I think Bacone used to be in there.
Oh, out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think they used
that's
to be
crazy.
in there too.
Westgate. Okay. All right. So we're gonna move on. So you guys know, and again, Jared, this is something that you wanted to talk about. Apparently, Deion Sanders went out of his way to praise Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson for being humble enough to coach at an HBCU. Now, I don't know how I necessarily felt by him saying using the word humble. And I don't know if he meant any disrespect by it. But I told you, man, depending on who you are, depending on the situation, depending on whatever is going on at a particular time, there are some, whether it be ESPN, whether it be some of these announcers who may not necessarily know a whole lot, there still is a certain element of society out there that kind of has this, those pole HBCU type mentality, whereas depending on an individual, a coach who's got like years of experience coaching at various institutions, if the opportunity presents itself to be a head coach at an HBCU, I'm pretty certain they don't look at that as they may be humble for the opportunity to coach it, but I don't think they look at that as an opportunity that's any less than. And like I said, man, I want to be careful, but I just get the impression that word humble, there's something that indicates less than. And Jared, I know you were pretty adamant about this when we talked about it in chat. What are your thoughts about what Deion Sanders said about Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson?
Yeah, I feel like the wording is kind of what's throwing people off. People are already turned off by how Deion left in the first place. So anything he says about HBCUs is going to be looked at under a microscope, right? So how I choose to look at it, this is how I choose to look at it, because in communication, it's very difficult to say things and not be taken out of context. Anything in this day and age can be taken out of context easily.
Right.
How I choose to look at what he was trying to say is that Deshaun and Mike are both paying it forward and humbling themselves and taking on leadership roles at institutions that a lot of guys would not look at. When you got these former players who are going into coaching, they look at the Power 5 institutions. They're looking at the FBS. They want to be national champions. They want to be in the bowl games. They want to be in the college football playoffs. There's not necessarily guys that are looking at the FCS. They're not looking at the Division 2s, the Division 3s, because they look at those levels as less than the national conferences in the FBS, the ACCs, the Big 10, the Big 12s. So for those guys to say, I'm willing to forego being an assistant at the FBS level and taking on these roles that not a lot of guys would want, that have been on the level that we've played at, then that's them humbling themselves. That's how I choose to look at it. It can be looked at as, HBCUs, they can't get nobody. They ain't got enough money to get those big time guys. So kudos to Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson for doing charity and going down to HBCUs and getting some experience, so they can coach a couple of years there and move up. That's how it can be looked at, because that's how it can be interpreted. But I choose to look at it in a positive way, because coaching in general, especially for former players, they're not obligated to do that. They're not obligated to take on these roles where not for nothing, they could also decide that they can be assistants at the pro level and then get that experience and parlay that into a head coaching job at a Power 5 institution, or if they want to maneuver to be a coordinator at the NFL level. So like, I can understand both sides of it, but I choose to look at it as a positive side of any coach who decides to pay it forward and say, I'm going to take on the task of becoming a head coach of a college program, like Eddie Robb Jr. is doing, like Chris's best friend Trent Dilfer is doing, like that. Like I think that because any institution deciding that you are worthy to represent our football program and to mentor our young kids, that you should be humbled by that opportunity, no matter where you go. So I feel like that's how I'm choosing to look at it, but it can be looked at the other way.
Chris?
Well, y'all know I'm not. Jared said at the outset, people were turned off by how Deion left. I was turned on by how he got there in the first place. Right. Like this dude rushed a degree from Talladega just so he could apply for the job.
and now continues to claim that he's a Talladega alum.
Okay, whatever. But my thing is like you can't say things like that. Say they're humbling themselves, like they just literally are coming down from Mount Olympus as the Greek gods of saving HBCUs from themselves or whatever, and not think people are not going to look at it like that, especially me, because I've had misgivings about the whole splash hire NFL NBA coach thing from the jump. It's never been my cup of tea. Granted, I can admit when I'm wrong. As a proud Delaware State Hornet, I am proud to be wrong. Okay? I'm very much looking forward to see how this Hornet team looks under Deshaun Jackson, going in Central this weekend. But I just think that we have been HBCUs have been backed into a corner where anybody of note that takes interest in us is going to be looked at as doing charity work. And I don't like that. I don't like the implication behind it. I don't like the overall look of it. It just seems like we're looked at as less than, when for the longest time we were better than anything else out here. Jackson State has more Hall of Famers than some of your favorite PWIs. Southern has Mel Blount, Aeneas Williams, a couple other guys that are
Harold Carmichael.
Harold Carmichael, Eagle. I'm from the Philadelphia area. I should know that
too. They got 4 Hall of Famers as well.
Yeah, Grambling got Buck Buchanan, Doug Williams. I mean, like HBCU.
Doug Williams, no, but go ahead.
I mean, he's not in the Hall of Fame, but he had one of the best Super Bowl performances ever. But I mean, HBCUs we've always been at the top of the food chain until, once again, I hate to be the activist guy, the Black Panther guy here, but segregation tripped us up. I will maintain that until I take my final breath, because it wasn't about, integration. It wasn't about holding hands, hands across America. It was about equal resources. Bottom line. And a lot of people forget that. And so when you look at how the resources have been divvied up, I mean, for God's sakes, Tennessee State is owed nearly $1 billion by the Tennessee State legislature, and they're not going to get it. And so when they
need a stadium.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you start talking about people saying, yes, they humbled themselves. Mike Vick, humbled himself to take a job at Norfolk State, even though he himself said he went to Norfolk State games as a kid. Deshaun Jackson had to humble himself, even though the man just said he was at the homecoming concert last week having a ball. So are they really humbling themselves? No, they just wanted to coach. And if it had to be HBCU, so be it. But I'm just tired. I mean, like everything Deion says, I mean, I really wish people would start looking at this dude. I mean, yes, he's a Hall of Fame talent. I mean, this is the only dude to hit a home run and score a touchdown in professional sports in the same week. Never going to happen again. This is the same dude who literally just made himself a star just by being a personality. But he had this talent, but his personality matched his talent. But there's a cult-like following to him. Like, the dude can't say or do anything wrong, and it just really boggles the mind that people have built him up to be like the God that he swears he follows, but in reality, that God in his heart and in his mind is him. Mm. He's the Almighty, in his opinion. And I mean,
Flood, you go ahead. No, I don't we got a lot. We still got a couple of things, but Flood, you can any comments?
I mean, first of all, I would just like people to acknowledge that Ashley Stevens took a Hail Mary and he hit. All right,
Ashley Robinson.
Ashley Robinson. I'm sorry, Ashley Robinson threw a Hail Mary and he scored a touchdown. That was a complete Hail Mary. That's exactly what it was. All right. For all the good that Deion has been able to do, Deion has been as detrimental to HBCUs as he's done good. And that, I mean, the yin and the yang, you take it. It's worked well for Jackson State. Good deal. But I'm with Chris. I'm trying to be as positive as I can, like Jared said, and take it as he was trying to say something positive. But at the same time, knowing the communicator that he is, and he's made a second profession and being a communicator, I just feel like it was just Deion being Deion, and he literally has a savior complex about HBCUs that I don't think that Deshaun Jackson has. I don't think Michael Vick has. And the one thing that Deion, I think that a lot of people, the Deion and the sycophants who follow Deion failed to realize is that nobody was offering Deion Sanders a job before Jackson State offered him a job. Nobody, not even his alma mater.
No.
They didn't want to be bothered with him.
Arkansas said no.
Yes.
Florida State said no.
Everywhere he went, they said no. Jackson State decided, because of what was going on with them at the time, they threw a Hail Mary and they scored. Kudos to them. But, you know, for me, I hate that we still have to even be talking about Deion Sanders, man.
Yeah.
To be clear, I'm not saying that's what Deion was trying to say.
I know.
That's how I'm choosing to perceive his words.
Yes, I totally get it.
We got you. Okay. So we're gonna move on, but now we got to talk about, again, one of the games, even though it's Division II, without question, Jared, I think you will agree, this is probably one of the bigger games of the weekend. Right? Albany State versus Benedict. You guys know what my feelings are about Benedict. We didn't know what a Benedict was 3-4 years ago. We didn't even know Benedict was a member of the SIAC 3 or 4 years ago. And now Shinnisberry is gone, but Benedict is still rolling, despite taking a. What did they finish last year?
They were 5-5.
But they 5-5 last year.
Benedict?
Yeah.
No, Benedict was 4-6 last year.
Oh, they had a losing record last year.
Yeah.
Okay. But Dickerson is there, man, and he's got a rolling against Albany State, like 6-1, both with just one loss on the year.
No, Benedict's undefeated.
Benedict's undefeated. Albany State's like what? I know they got one loss, right?
Yeah, they lost to Penn.
Okay. So, hey, Jared, you are the D2 expert, man.
Well, first
what are we to look forward in this game?
I resent your wording, even though it's Division II. What does that mean, Ken Rashad? What does that mean? No, I'm messing with you.
No, you got me. I'm just that is a crutch for my ignorance and not knowing as much as not knowing as much as you do. So
nah,
you got me.
It's all
Go ahead, brother.
But yeah, this is a big game. You know, this is my game of the week, being the guy that covers Division IIs for us. But yeah, both teams coming off some hard-fought wins. Albany State was in a defensive battle with Tuskegee, lost another quarterback, had to go to their third quarterback on the depth chart after, you know, for those who don't know, Isaiah Knowles was the starting quarterback coming into the season and had Albany State averaging 50 points a game before he went down with an injury against Allen, has not returned since then. There are rumblings.
So people saying he's coming back, though?
There's rumblings that he could potentially be coming back. But in the interim, while he was gone, Albany State went to their second quarterback on the depth chart. My apologies for not remembering his name off the top of my head. But he went down with an injury against Tuskegee on either the first or the second drive of the game. And they went to Zaylen Bell. And he did just enough. He and the running game did just enough, and the defense sealed the win against Tuskegee, a 7-3 win for Tuskegee. So they remain unbeaten in conference play. And Benedict was in an offensive shootout with Edward Waters. Edward Waters, a team that is coached by Brian Jenkins Jr. and OC Eric Dooley, former Southern quarterback Noah Bodden, and they had been rolling through the first couple of weeks of the season. They slipped up against Kentucky State, and they really needed this win in order to keep itself in the SIAC championship race. But there was a sequence at the end of the first half where Benedict turned the ball over at the goal line, and Edward Waters returned it to their side of the field with a chance to kick a field goal to make it 10-10 going into the half. But Benedict blocks the field goal and returns it for a touchdown. So now it's 17-7 going into the half. And in the end, they are able to get the game-winning touchdown at the end to come away with a 31-27 win. So they remain unbeaten overall. And both teams with unbeaten records in conference, now they will meet up. And this will be a matchup to likely see who will be one of the first of two contenders to clinch a spot in the SIAC championship game. Let me say this.
Emmett Jones is saying, how healthy will Knowles be against Benedict?
And that's the question. That's the question I have. So
yeah, because I was going to say, is he? I mean, I'd like to think that the coaches wouldn't allow him to play if he's not healthy enough to play. But depending on, and I think it's safe to say probably wouldn't be 100%, but whatever it is, let's just say he's 80%. Is that good enough to make a difference?
Hell yeah. Okay. Hell yeah. They were averaging 50 points a game before he was injured. He was throwing like 3 or 4 touchdowns a game. If he is healthy enough to play, absolutely. They are win. If he's 80% and he plays in this game, I don't know if Benedict has a chance.
Wow.
Now I'm not gonna go that far. I don't know. I'm not gonna go that far because Benedict is a very good team. Darius Ocean has played very well. He's got this offense looking formidable. There's a lot of talent on this defense. But Albany State, before Isaiah Knowles went down, was looking unstoppable on offense.
Where's this game being played? Where's this game being played?
It's in Columbia. It's in Columbia. All right. So knowing the information we have, I'm gonna give my prediction, assuming Isaiah Knowles plays and let's say he's at 60%. Okay. I have Albany State winning that game.
At 60%?
If he's 60%, that's still enough for me. That's still enough for me for Albany State to win this game. Oh, okay. Benedict has a bright future. They can still potentially make it to the SIAC championship game because the only 3 teams that are in the race right now is these 2 and Kentucky State. Kentucky State still has a chance to make it to the SIAC championship game. They already have a loss to Albany State on their record, but they're 6-2. Albany State 6-1. So if Albany State slips up or Benedict slips up in the last couple of weeks of the season, Kentucky State could still swoop in and get an SIAC championship berth. So this game is very important, and the last 2 weeks are very important. But in the end, if Isaiah Knowles plays this game and he is at least 60%, I have Albany State winning this game. Anything less, and it's a toss-up.
I say the trend continues. I say Benedict wins. Chris?
If Isaiah Knowles plays, I got to go with Albany. I do.
Nobody's confirmed that though.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I said
that's why we're saying if.
Okay.
If he doesn't play in this game at all.
If he doesn't play, does that? Huh?
It's a toss-up, but I feel like it'll be a very close game.
Okay.
And that run game with Algernon Thomas and Tyant Weish, people sleep on that. Isaiah Knowles is great, don't get me wrong, but that run game for Albany State is really good too. So it would be a significant toss-up, but I might have to edge it to Benedict if Isaiah Knowles is unable to play. Because the young guy that they have playing quarterback now, he hasn't had enough reps. I don't know how many first-team reps he's getting in practice. So I don't know how to judge how he would be able to be as the starter going into the game against one of the best teams in the conference. So I might have to edge it to Benedict if he doesn't play this game. But that run game from Albany State will be a factor.
Flood, you care to make a prediction?
Yeah, man. I've been watching these 2 teams, actually. I'm a roll with Benedict, and not for the reasons you guys think. Well, number one, they're playing it's a home game.
In Columbia,
I think they're a lot more closer of a match than people might think. So I'm going with Benedict in that game because I think Benedict, they play defense and they can play some ball control. So if they can keep Albany off the field, then they have a fighter's chance, have a puncher's chance. And the fact I'm just going with them because just on a shout out to Dr. Rosalind Clark Artist. I'm rolling with Dr. Artist. She point blank, plain and simple. I'm rolling with her. She seems to get this football thing right, man. She seems to understand. She's done a lot. You know what I'm saying? She brought in Chennis Berry. She's done a lot to improve their facilities. And now, she's bringing in Dickinson. I mean, she seems to get this football thing, man, which a lot of times a lot of our presidents don't get.
Nope.
So she seems to get this thing, man. And, she's Dr. Rosalind Clark Artist. So shouts out to her and doing a good job with Benedict football.
All right.
Surprised you, huh?
And shout out to Lawrence in the chat, because yes, if Benedict does win this game, they do clinch a spot, because their only two remaining games are Virginia University Lynchburg, we just talked about their homecoming contest, and they have their last conference game of the season against Savannah. So they will essentially wrap up one of the conference championship spots if they win this game. Okay. So that does play a part in it as well. But
the Kentucky State coach is a former Grambling guy.
Yeah, man.
He might
Grambling, then he went to Southeastern.
Yeah,
he might be a future Grambling guy.
Yeah, it's been coming up.
Yeah,
it comes up. Even though he got cheated out of a win earlier this season, but we'll leave that.
Boy, did he!
And I don't mind telling nobody either.
The cousins couldn't let him win. The cousins couldn't let him win.
He couldn't let him.
He from up there up the road. He from up there up the road, Cheneyville, Zachary. They couldn't let him win. They couldn't let him have bragging rights up that way.
They cheated my man out of a win. I'm gonna just tell you that right now.
That's an insider right there. Y'all know the cousins up in Cheneyville and Zachary, where they all related. So they
right.
The family couldn't let him have the bragging rights. Not when literally the whole family of Grambling Knights. Literally the whole family. His whole family, his cousins, brothers, sisters, uncles. They couldn't let him have the bragging rights on him.
All right. So now we're gonna talk about the MEAC game of the week. Delaware State versus North Carolina Central. Chris, you say you nervous, bro?
Very.
Okay. So
nervous as Floyd Mayweather in a spelling bee.
How big is this game, Chris?
This is the biggest football game Delaware State has played since 2007, which is the last time they won the MEAC. 2007. What game was that? When was that? They went to South Carolina State when Buddy Pugh had that team rolling, and South Carolina State had won 3 of the last 4 MEAC championships. They needed to win that game to take first place for South Carolina State, and they did it. But that was 2007. South Carolina State still is down the line, and that's the last game of the season in Dover on November 22nd. But this North Carolina Central team has looked like gods among men for most of the year. You take away the New Hampshire game, you take away the Old Dominion game, they have just beat the tar out of everybody. And I just don't know if this Delaware State team in this iteration, granted, Deshaun Jackson has done a phenomenal job. If there's any justice in the world, he will be MEAC Coach of the Year this year. But North Carolina Central has scored 52 points a game during this win streak. They are beating teams by an average of almost 28 points per game during this win streak. And they're at home. And it's homecoming. And Trey Oliver does not like to lose anytime. He's not going to like to lose homecoming. So I just think that championship edge goes to Central, but at the same time, that Central defense has looked shaky in spots. And Delaware State has the top rushing offense in the country, 327 yards per game. So if they can find a way to, attack the soft spots in that Central front seven, and there aren't many because they got some dogs up front, but if they can find some ways to, keep Central's offense off the field, they'll have a shot. But if Delaware State's pass defense, which is like bottom 5th in FCS, doesn't stop anybody, and Walker Harris has looked like a Peyton Award candidate. If he looks like a Peyton Award candidate on Saturday, that game is going to get out of hand real quick. Very, very quickly. So I picked North Carolina Central 34-26. I'm going to stick with it. But if Delaware State wins, yes, I will be doing a live stream after the game.
I bet you will.
Flood, you got any comments about this?
North Carolina Central got a lot of guys who were out injured. That's why the defense had holes in it. They've had a week off to heal and get better. I think Delaware State being one-dimensional comes back to bite them this game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
North Carolina Central with a healthy defense, hard to play against. I think Central wins this one going away, especially on homecoming.
Jared?
In the last 3 games in their win streak, North Carolina Central has given up 42 rushing yards on 35 attempts, 34 rushing yards on 25 attempts, and 43 rushing yards on 28 attempts. Delaware State against FCS opponents has given up against 4 FCS opponents has given up 13 passing touchdowns. No, wait, no. Did I count that right? Yeah, 13 passing touchdowns in 4 games against FCS opponents. Whoever does the better job, whether it be Delaware State running the ball or defending the pass, I think that's who wins the game. And I'm betting on North Carolina Central doing better at defending the run than Delaware State at defending the pass. So I got North Carolina Central winning.
Someone said, this is champ D1 D1012 says this is for the MEAC title, 2 best teams in the MEAC. You agree with that, Chris? Given that this is just week 1 of this is the first week of conference play.
We count now.
Is this game really the game that decides the MEAC title?
That's what I was about to say, Jared. And I know Flood's going to back me up on this one because, he's an old Louisiana wrestling territory guy. To quote the legendary Ric Flair, to be the man,
got to beat the man.
And South Carolina State, until further notice, is still the man. It's that simple. And yes, they've had a struggle. They're still deciding between 2 quarterbacks, but that defense is still very nasty, still very aggressive. And I'm not ready. I've said Central looks like the better team by far, but I still think when Central and South Carolina State get together on November 14th, that's going to be a really good football game. But I'll be happy if Delaware State can just, get a winning record out of this year. But if there's some cosmic mystical thing that ends up in Atlanta, I'm not going to be mad at it either. But I still think North Carolina Central is the better football team, and that's the way it's going to end up on Saturday.
Okay. All right. We are going to transition to the SWAC. And there are a few games on the slate, so we're just going to take the whole schedule and we're just going to kind of break it down because there are a couple of games that we just won't bother to waste the time to talk about. One of them being Prairie View against Lincoln.
The game of the week.
Homecoming. Happy homecoming.
I love Tremaine Jackson, but he had to know when they scheduled Lincoln that folk wasn't going to come to that game.
Okay. Did he really know this?
No, because nobody comes. I don't care who they schedule. They don't go to Prairie View's homecoming.
Context for the people who don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Tremaine Jackson on. He posted on Twitter this week. Instagram this week. Posted a video very upset about the fact that the homecoming game was not sold out. And a lot of people were tagging him and responding to the video saying, I don't think he knows that they scheduled Lincoln for homecoming.
and traditionally, people don't go to Prairie View's homecoming games anyway. I don't know what Coach Maynard is upset about.
Is that true? I've never been to a PV homecoming game.
Yeah,
I've heard some people talk about
they tailgate, but they don't go.
Okay, that's right. Okay, they don't go to the game, but I'm saying that there are a ton of people on campus, but they don't go to the game.
But they don't go to the game.
Okay,
they've done, that's been a tradition because I think kind of what really cemented it was, remember when they were building their stadium, they would play at Waller Stadium, the city stadium in Waller.
When they were transitioning,
So therefore, and before that, they had the little rinky-dink stadium.
The Blackshear Field.
Blackshear Field. So basically, the people would just tailgate in the parking lot, but they wouldn't go in the game because the stadium was small. Enough seats. And they didn't have enough seats, and they weren't winning. Then when they transitioned, they were in Waller Stadium. They didn't allow tailgating at that stadium. So they would have to tailgate on campus, and the game would be at the stadium off campus. So people weren't going to transition. So it's just kind of been what it is at Prairie View. And then you add into Lincoln into the mix, and no, they're not coming to the game. But they haven't been coming to the games all season. So I don't know why Coach Maynard is upset about that.
You mean Jackson?
No, I mean Coach Maynard. You'll catch that one later on.
I got to think about that one.
You'll catch it later on.
Okay.
Just look at the comparisons.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Just look at the comparisons, personality-wise, record-wise. Just look at the comparisons.
I got it the third time he said it. It took me a second, but I got it the third time he said it.
Okay. All right. That's crazy. Okay. So real quick. All right. So let's talk about Valley and Alcorn real quick. Two bottom feeders, right? Is Valley going to win this game Saturday?
Yes.
Sure. Okay.
I got Valley. I got Valley because there's just nothing since Alcorn State let go of Fred McNair that has led me to believe that. I mean, Cedric Thomas seems like a good human being, but I don't think he's a Division I football coach. And
you really?
I don't. That team just looks like he's the substitute teacher that the students getting absolutely zero work done. Like when you see, like back in the day when you saw certain substitute teachers, like, oh man, we're gonna chill today. We just gonna keep on our feet. We're gonna play paper football. We're gonna, write notes to the girls that we like and all of that. That's basically what Alcorn State football looks like right now. And
okay.
For all intents and purposes, Terrell Buckley does have Mississippi Valley State looking like a football team. I won't say a good football team, but a football team nonetheless. But I do think Valley wins this one.
All right. Let's talk about Magic City Classic. Alabama State bouncing back. Looking forward to a rival, if you will. I'm not necessarily saying they don't have anything to play for, because obviously anything can happen between now and the end of the season. But is there anything to make? I mean, I guess for Alabama State, they just need to do whatever they can to just win out, right?
Yeah, basically. They still have a very long shot chance, but they have a chance.
They need help.
They need a lot of help.
You see, do you see a loss somewhere on Jackson's schedule?
Yep.
Well, let's look it up.
You said you do?
Yep. Las Vegas, baby.
So
Tigers about to pull it off in Vegas, baby.
So their remaining schedule is,
of course. Now, are you just talking? Or are you serious?
Nah, Grambling about to pull it off in Vegas. They about to upset the apple cart in Vegas, man. This is the moment that Grambling. These are the moments that the G lives for.
I'm trying not to let you reel me in, because you see
this is the moments that
you see my look. You see it there. I say Grambling's better than Jackson State.
If T said is healthy, mark my words, baby. If T said is healthy, the G is gonna pull it off. This is what Grambling lives for.
Okay, so in order for Bama State to have a chance, they need Jackson State to lose twice.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
So short answer before I read the schedule, that's not happening. That's not happening. Their remaining schedule is after Grambling, they go to Tallahassee to play Florida A&M. They go to Itabena to play Mississippi Valley State. They host Bethune-Cookman, and then senior night is against Alcorn State.
Hey, look, okay. So I'm playing devil's advocate here. They go to FAMU. Now look, we all admit Cozy coaching for his job. Right?
Every week.
If they come to Mumford and lose this week, Cozy won't be there by that time.
So okay. So we can talk about the slate, because all of these games are kind of like intertwined, and they're like implications regardless. Yeah. So given where Southern is right now, Flood, with McNair leading the team, and given where Cozy and FAMU is right now, given what their status, what do you make of Saturday?
Pick 'em. But wow. It's a pick 'em. But I actually think Florida M is probably a better team, because just on the strength that they have better athletes. Southern is really not a very good team. Not saying that they can't win Saturday, but I wouldn't put my money on it. Southern is not a good team.
Well, I mean, Flood. I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I mean, Alcorn ain't really a good team too, when FAMU kind of struggled.
Yeah. Southern and Alcorn about what. So Southern could pull it off.
Look, I've seen both. We're comparing apples and oranges. Like not a lot of these teams are very good this year. Yeah, this is a very down year for the SWAC.
West down year for the SWAC West.
For sure for the SWAC West. But
SWAC.
But this is the worst we've ever seen. How long has it been since we've seen Florida A&M look this bad?
Probably since Delaware State was last good in the MEAC.
How long have we seen Alcorn State look this bad?
Oh,
well, that was a different conference, though.
Yeah, a bunch of times.
But how long?
Yeah.
Though?
Yeah, it's been pre Hobson. It's been a few years.
So this is collectively, this is the worst we've seen the SWAC look. There's 2 teams that we know is going to be in the SWAC championship game already. I mean, there's a chance. There's still a chance that they have a long shot chance. But am I betting on Jackson State to lose to Florida A&M, Mississippi Valley State, Bethune-Cookman, or Alcorn State?
No. You can't count on that. I agree with you on that.
Y'all don't think Bethune-Cookman can sneak up on anybody?
I think they could because they have a puncher's chance because they can score.
Mm-hmm.
And they did give Jackson for a half. They gave Jackson State a fifth last year for one half. Bethune has a puncher's chance, but I don't think this. I put it like this.
Like you said, they can score points. What's his name? Cam Ransom? Is that the quarterback? Cam Ransom. Yeah.
I put it like this. If Bethune can protect their quarterback, Jackson State does have some deficiencies.
Mm-hmm.
They have some deficiencies. If Bethune can protect the quarterback, Cam Ransom can make Jackson State pay. Now the question is, can Bethune's defense stop Jackson State?
That was going to be my question. Can Bethune get stops?
Yeah, I don't think they can get enough stops to over the course of a game. They may be able to get for a half. They may be able to do something. I just don't think they can stop Jackson State, especially the way Jackson State's quarterback is playing now. The way
Morgan.
Yeah, because Jacoby Morgan is playing lights out, man. I really like what I've seen from him. He's really stepped up his game. He's making great throws, making great plays, using his feet when he has to, but not necessarily as a threat. But he just does enough to make it work. But man, the way he's throwing the ball and his decision making, he is by far head and shoulders by far the best quarterback in the SWAC. And I know a lot of people say, well, the quarterback play in the SWAC is bad. I think we've seen so much bad quarterback play that we don't even realize what good quarterback play. Mm-hmm. This kid is playing at a level where I would not be surprised if he got a shot to make an NFL roster. Not saying he's going to get drafted, but he has all the measurables. He has the arm strength. His accuracy, he's throwing about, I think his accuracy somewhere around 63% completion rate, somewhere around there, maybe higher. And like I said, his decision making, I don't see Jackson State losing to Bethune, but we'll see down the road.
Okay, so you don't see Jackson State losing to Bethune, but you see them losing to Grambling Mall?
I just feel like Grambling gonna pull it off, man. This is what the G does. This is what Grambling does. Las Vegas, Grambling, the shot BB band on the field, all of that. This is exactly what Grambling does, man. I'm telling you.
I'm not in the business of calling you a liar, but I'm just saying it's funny the way you're saying it.
I'm just saying, man, this is what Grambling does, man. I've been following Grambling as long as I've been following Southern. This is the perfect theatrical moment for Grambling to pull the upset. National TV in Las Vegas. The Grambling Knights are there. Poncho Glover,
West Coast presence. Yeah, I was going to say that week. The West Coast presence. Yeah.
Poncho Glover got parties going on all over town. Man, I'm telling you, everybody from Tallulah and Delhi and Monroe gonna show up because everybody in Las Vegas every black person in Las Vegas is from North Louisiana, actually. I don't know if y'all know that, but every black person in North Louisiana, in Las Vegas that works at the casinos and stuff, they're from North Louisiana. They're going to be there in droves. I'm telling you, the Grambling crowd is going to probably be 2-1 over Jackson State because every black person in Vegas is from North Louisiana. They're either from Tallulah, Delhi, Monroe, Turkey Creek, Vidal. They from somewhere in North Louisiana. So I just think the G going to pull it off. I just got a feeling.
And I need to add, too, that one of the board members who sits on the board for Allegiant Stadium is also a Grambling Knight. And he was key in making sure that this game came. And when they were talking about the possibility of making it an HBCU Classic, he was insistent that no matter what happens, Grambling has to be one of those teams that you put out there. So,
all right, now you got the Vegas fix in. There you go, right there.
Put in that petition, Jackson State. Put in that
Right
petition.
there. Jackson State, y'all ain't getting not near recall in this game, baby. Not none.
And that guy, you say the Vegas fix, that guy just so happens, he used to be the Clark County commissioner and he used to sit on the gaming committee. So just
y'all can cancel Christmas, Jackson State. It's over, baby. It's all over but the crying. The G is about to pull it off on y'all in Las Vegas.
Someone said, hey, Ken, please have Reggie back on the show so he can eat Crow Sunday.
I'll come back on. I'll come back on. I have no issue with that. But if y'all lose, in the words of Thunderbolt Patterson, if I only had time, but if y'all lose, no, but for real though, I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for Grambling to pull an upset. Like I really do.
All right. So before we end the show, I'm looking at the slate of games here real quick. I want to ask each of you to pick. All right. So I got Valley with the upset of Alcorn on Saturday. All right. I got BCU over UAPB. Obviously, PV will beat Lincoln. I got Alabama State over A&M. I got Southern over FAMU on Saturday, and I just think that there's too much on this, and I'm obviously a homer, but I got Grambling over Jackson State, and I'm just going to say this to the Jackson State folks, because this is my opportunity to talk a little smack now. Don't lose to Daddy. Don't lose to Daddy, because you J State folks, and Flood, you probably heard this. I've heard you J State folks. Well, you know what, man? We just have a problem playing Grambling every time we play him in that hole. But when you look at the series, historically speaking, you just can't beat Grambling in the hole. We beat you guys in Grambling East with regularity. So I guess what I'm trying to say is we will beat you here. We will beat you there. We will beat you anywhere, including Vegas.
Not Dr. Seuss.
Grambling West. Do not lose to Daddy, because if you think I was talking some crap and some smack this past week, and I will be the first one to give, you have on paper, you have it, you've got the advantage. You are favored to win. I don't necessarily expect to win. But as Flood said, it's big lights, baby. This ain't new for us. You're playing in the Dome Stadium. We do this every year. This ain't something that J-State does all the time. You guys be like, ooh, look at all these lights. Ooh, I understand this is going to be new for you. And I'm just going ahead and tell you guys now, J-State, I know for a fact, when Grambling tapped that ass last year, that SWAC championship game was bittersweet. You finally went to the Celebration Bowl, you win, and you won, and you know what? But it just didn't feel the same. Because you were saying to yourself, damn it, if we could have just beat Daddy. And you couldn't beat Daddy. And that was a damn year. Do not lose this game tomorrow. Because if you think I'm an ass this week, oh, Lord, don't lose to Daddy. This is your opportunity. This is an opportunity for you to finally get over the hump. And you have an opportunity to go the rest of the way unblemished. I understand the game last year didn't count in the SWAC standings, but it was still bitter for you. And the championship just ain't the same. I'm done. Okay, so Griff. So those are my pick'ems. So real quick, Chris, you give me your pick before we give it in.
All right. Valley,
right?
By 5 points.
Okay.
Bethune-Cookman, that is going to be a track meet. I got Bethune-Cookman in that one.
What?
Yeah, I think Bethune-Cookman beats Pine Bluff.
Oh, you said when you say okay, track. Okay, okay, go ahead. I thought you think a shootout.
It's gonna be like 41-34, something like that.
Oh wow. Okay.
I got Prairie View over the safety school.
Right.
Alabama and Alabama State. I almost said Alabama State. I got them in the Magic City. I did pick Florida A&M to win, but it would not surprise me if Southern won and James Colsey got left in Baton Rouge over the weekend. And last but certainly not least, I can't look past them Tigers, man. The ones from Mississippi. I mean, they look what's best for business. To quote Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, what's best for business is North Carolina Central and Jackson State in the Celebration Bowl this year. And I'm not going to deviate from that pick. I got Jackson State.
Okay. Jared?
The Valley against Alcorn State. Sure. Why not? I got Bethune-Cookman over UAPB. Let's go, Lincoln. Let's go, Lincoln. No, I'm just playing. I got PB, of course. I got Bama State over Bama A&M. I got FAM over Southern in a.
Oh, you got FAM over Southern? Okay.
Sure, why not? And because we've reached our daddy quota for the stream, I got Jackson State over Grambling.
All right, Flood.
All right, I'm gonna go against the grain here because I've seen bad football from both of these teams. I'm gonna pick Alcorn beating Mississippi Valley in Spinks Chasm. Chasm Spinks. I'm gonna take Bethune over Pine Bluff. Pine Bluff is not gonna be able to score points with Bethune. Bethune's gonna put too many points on the board. Of course, Prairie View and Lincoln. I'm going with Prairie View. Right. Alabama State over A&M. I think this is gonna be a good game. Alabama State's gonna have to score, but I think they will. I think they'll beat A&M. And I'll never go with A&M in anything again because every time I go with them, they lose. FAMU over Southern. I think that Southern has a spark with Coach McNair. I just don't know if they have enough spark to get the victory. But I wouldn't be surprised if they won, but I wouldn't put my money on it. And I think Grambling does one thing well that will match Jackson State that not a lot of teams do, and that's the physicality. I think Grambling matches Jackson State from a physical standpoint, and if Xavier T-Set is healthy and doesn't turn the ball over, I pick Grambling to upset Jackson State. I could be wrong, but I just got a feeling.
I got you. Chris Stevens, do that thing that we do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for tuning into this edition of the HBCU Sports Live podcast. We greatly appreciate y'all as always. Be sure to follow us on all manners of social media. We are on the Musty app. That's Twitter, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, all of the above. Just look for HBCU Sports. If you would like to donate to this lovely organization, you can drop a super chat while we're still up, or you can subscribe to this channel, become a level 1 or level 2 member for $4.99 a month. You can get all the Black college news that's fit to print and broadcast as we like to give it to you. And don't forget, you can donate to us via Cash App. Just type in the $sign HBCU Sports, or you go to the Zelle app, donate at hbcusports.com, type that in, put that in, or go straight to the website, hbcusports.com/donate, and you can drop the coins there, and you will greatly appreciate it so we can keep this organization going. We thank you all very much. We're looking forward to a fun weekend of football, and we're going to be back with y'all next week to talk about it. So enjoy your weekend.
Catch me on Inside the Game, 6 o'clock on Mondays.
We gone.